So this is 623 Greenup. This is our next house. On Christmas Eve of 1928, Reverend Napoleon H. Carlisle left his home at 623 Greenup to mail a holiday package. It was his tradition to mail 2 thick steaks and a box of fruit to his brother, Logan Carlisle, at his home in southwestern Kenton County. The siblings also had a more well-known brother, the late John G. Carlisle, who served as the Kentucky Lieutenant Governor, Speaker of the U.S. House of Representatives, and Secretary of the U.S. Treasury. Reverend Carlisle set out from his home around 5 p.m. to drop the parcel in the post box. He lived at 623 Greenup for 42 years, and at the time shared his residence with his 2 daughters, Effie and Lily Carlisle. The Reverend did not anticipate being out for long, and left wearing his frock coat, house slippers, and no collar. He made his way to the mailbox on East 6th Street between Scott and Madison, where he mailed the package. Hours later, at 10 p.m., he was reportedly seen near the public market on Madison Avenue by former police officer William Trent, and the 2 men exchanged greetings. Sidney Arthur, owner of the Arthur Apartments, reportedly spoke to the Reverend at 6th and Greenup that evening as well. These were Reverend Carlisle's last known interactions, as nothing of him was seen or heard again. Local newspapers and radio stations reported on his disappearance for weeks. Effie and Lily claimed that their father was in good spirits and of sound mind when he left the house that day. They posted a reward of $500 for his return. The sisters assumed foul play, fearing that he had been robbed and murdered by highwaymen who then weighted his body down with rocks in the river. Though he was never buried there, the family added a marker in memory of Reverend Carlisle in Linden Grove Cemetery in the Carlisle family plot. Wesley C. Hamilton, a distiller, tobacco merchant, and longtime steward at the Union Methodist Episcopal Church, was the brother of capitalist George W. Hamilton and brother-in-law of oilman R.T. Miller. Wesley Hamilton lived in Covington for 35 years and died at the age of 75. The Hamilton brothers purchased 2 adjacent lots in roughly 1867. Wesley's home at 508 Greenup was finished between 1867 to 1868, making it the older of the 2 Hamilton brothers' homes. Wesley sold the elegant residence to commercial merchant M.D. Thompson in September of 1883. Thompson was a junior warden and vestryman at the Trinity Presbyterian Episcopal Church in Covington in the late 1800s. In October 1902, Thompson sold 508 Greenup to Henry Feltman Sr. It was reported in the Covington Courier that Feltman Sr. would improve the property by making 2 houses out of a large one and by building a modern house on the lot south of the Thompson residence. One of the wealthiest Kenton County citizens, Feltman was the largest individual taxpayer and property owner of Latonia, and was the president of the German National Bank in the late 1800s and early 1900s, and was later president of the Citizens National Bank. Feltman passed away in April 1913 at the age of 81. Feltman's son, Henry Jr., a wealthy tobacco dealer, gained unwanted national attention when a U.S. grand jury indicted him and 6 other men from Latonia in 1918. The United States was at war, and anti-German sentiment was at a high. A few dozen Kenton County residents formed the Citizens Patriotic League to combat German support in the area. The CPL hired a detective agency to monitor a group of suspect men that often met in a shoe repair shop located in the First National Bank building on Southern Avenue. The detectives planted a dictograph in a grandfather clock, or a gas meter, depending on which report you read, inside the shop. Using the device, operatives monitored the men making seditious, unpatriotic remarks against the United States. A U.S. district judge oversaw the case of 65-year-old Feltman Jr., who was found guilty. He was given 7 years at Moundsville Federal Penitentiary in West Virginia and a $40,000 fine. 2 years of appeals were unsuccessful, and the men served 6 months before being freed by a pardon issued by U.S. President Warren Harding. Feltman died in 1937, leaving an estate worth nearly $2 million.